Fencer Musashi.
Hello, Internet. Gino, aka That Pinguino, here again with another deep-ish look, and this time I'm going to be taking a look at Brave Fencer Musashi for the PlayStation 1. So, I'm actually going to be starting on the title screen here, because the thing I want to look at is a bit of the voice acting of this game, and it really peaks at the very opening cutscene. That'll kind of give you everything you need to know about this game. Beyond the voice acting, Brave Fencer Musashi is a B-tier action-adventure game that just... No one gives developers the money to make games of this kind of quality anymore, and I suppose that's for the best for the game industry as a whole, but there's just a B-movie quality to this entire proceeding that remains charming even to this day. Like, this game's setting is ridiculous, the voice acting is bad, just straight up bad, but there's mechanics and interesting stuff in here that's still worth remembering and exploring, even though for many people Brave Fencer Musashi was the game that happened to come with a Final Fantasy VIII demo disc. This game actually was pretty solid. So without further ado, let me cut to the very, very beginning of Brave Fencer Musashi, and you can get a impression of this game. One thing to keep in mind, Metal Gear Solid was released the same year as Brave Fencer Musashi. This was my first exposure to voice acting in games. It is the bar against which I measured voice acting. I should have probably played Metal Gear, in retrospect, but that is a contemporary of Brave Fencer Musashi. It takes place in the Allucaneet Kingdom, because why wouldn't a game about a legendary Japanese swordsman take place in a weird food-themed world? And without further ado, let me just let them talk for a little bit.
There does be no effect. They shall find it out whereabouts soon.
They were waiting for the king's absence to attack.
Like, why is the Bincho type so large? Does this mean...
It is eminently necessary that you perform Hero Summon.
Oh, we can finally meet him, the lovely and handsome Brave Fencer Musashi.
Okay, so if you couldn't pick up, the alchemist over there says incredibly long-winded statements. The princess is a California girl. The old guy speaks in ye olde English. Scribe Shanky is a terribly offensive gay stereotype, and Butler's is, or Livers the Butler is, he's a butler. He's got butler character traits. And then tying it all together is the amazing, outstanding Brave Fencer Musashi.
Hey, wait! Like, do you think I'd actually make a mistake?
Look at that animation. Look at her torso wiggle separately from the rest of her body. 1998 animation styles. You don't get quality like that anymore.
Who did you say was puny? And why are you guys wearing such stupid costumes?
Stupid costumes? Take that back, you little turd!
Yep, it's not gonna get any better than that. And so, even though this game's got terrible voice acting and just its story is as nonsensical as can be, you play as Brave Fencer Musashi, the legendary Japanese swordsman, cutting your way through the Allucaneet Kingdom, surrounded by food-themed characters, to defend the kingdom from the Thirst Quencher Empire. The Thirst Quencher Empire. And you do all of that by playing this action RPG sort of style game. Some of the cool stuff in this game, you've got this sword called Fusion, and it lets you absorb the powers of enemies that you happen to come across. So on top of just being the regular attack, Fusion can do stuff like this. It absorbed a stun ability here. So I can go up and whap, you're stunned, and then give me your soul. Steal this guy's soul, and now I've got a gun. Simulated gunshot. and now I can shoot fools. And one of the cool things about Fusion is that all of the powers that you steal are not necessarily active abilities. You also get passives. Like this plant here, most of the plants in this game will give you passives. Like this one gives me perfume. I get a barrier that reduces damage. So there are certain abilities that you'll absorb just because you happen to need a given passive, like high jumping, or this game has a day-night cycle, which is very interesting for the time. It has a true day-night cycle. It has a food system where Brave Fencer Musashi has to eat every day and drink and sleep. And if he doesn't, he will actually get less effective in combat. He'll drag his legs and the whole thing. And so there are passives, like there are plants that are mint plants, and if he eats them, it'll wake him up. And he'll get rid of all of his tiredness for a temporary amount of time. On top of that, you get actives that you need to solve puzzles. And so in this absorption fusion system, this game actually gets a lot of gameplay mileage. Like, oh, here's a puzzle.
It's too hard to jump. Hey, I know. I'll use gunshot to hit those logs and...
I'll hit those logs and... I wonder what'll happen. Yeah, the subtlety in voice acting, not at its highest in Brave Fencer Musashi. But you can pick up dudes, which is pretty great. Toss that guy. It is cool that the enemies will run into each other and knock each other over. You eventually get to go to a town at the foot of the Allucaneet Kingdom, and you'll hang out with the townsfolk. You can buy, you know, your breads, and I think you can buy armor and stuff like that
This is Spiral Tower?
as well.
But where's the tower?
Brave Fencer Musashi has
Where's that
a
note I
whole,
got at the castle?
on top of the subsystems, the
Let's
day-night
see.
and the eating and stuff like that,
Will
you
not
also
open unless
have,
you
there's a weird
sacrifice a
toy
warrior.
subsystem
Maybe those
where
statues have something to
Musashi,
do.
since he's a kid, will buy toys at the local toy store, and you can actually take them to your room in the castle and play with them. And
Hey,
if you
something's
open
under
a
this
toy,
statue.
it will actually decrease
Give
in
it a
value.
stomp.
So he has to deal with the problems that afflict every single toy collector. Leave it in the shrink wrap or no. And so if you leave it in the shrink wrap, you basically just get to look at it. And if you unwrap it, the toy will have like an animation. It's cool because every boss in the game will turn into a toy. There are some other items that will turn into toys. I think every enemy and every boss, though the bosses are rare toys and more valuable. Though I don't know why you would even buy toys and then sell them back. It's crazy. You eventually get another sword called Lumina. It's a heavy attack, so Fusion's kind of your light attack. Lumina will be a heavy overhead swing. And the main thrust of the game story is to get a bunch of scrolls that unlock additional powers in Lumina. Like the ability, all of them are elemental. There's a fire one, a water one, an earth one, air, and sky. Air and sky, two different, or wind and sky are apparently two different elements. And so, over the course of the game, you unlock additional powers. That's how you get to different dungeons. You'll defeat bosses and unlock all the powers that'll help you both in combat and to traverse levels. So there is a surprising amount of gameplay innovations
Someone
going
turn
on in
the
Brave Fencer
lights.
Musashi for
Where
all
is
of,
this place?
like,
When the
I guess the way
guardian
I'd describe
flame
it is
blanketed
Brave
in
Fencer Musashi
darkness,
is kind of,
the light
it's
will
like a
lead you
burrito.
above.
Like,
Whatever.
the steak and the meat of this game burrito is really good. It's a solid meat, but it's wrapped in old newspaper. All of the presentation, beyond the soundtrack, the soundtrack's actually solid. It's not amazing. It's clearly Square's B or C team, but still not terrible. Even the animation's not the worst in the world, but just the decision to have voice acting when it was so clear that the people involved in making this game did not yet know what to do with voice acting or how to write it. Like their writing staff, this might have been fine if it wasn't voiced, all of the food puns and kind of the ridiculous setup. But
Blanketed with
once you can
darkness.
hear people say Allucaneet Kingdom out loud, it loses a little bit of it. Scribe Shanky might have seemed
Hey, I
fine on
know.
paper, or maybe in
If that
Japanese
bell
it's not so
drops onto the
bad. Maybe in
plane,
Japanese
it'll
it's
go
just
out.
the affectations are just kind of the end of sentences, but I doubt it. I don't think that this would be solid writing in any language. And this game, I mean, I originally got it. It seems like it's just the game that comes with the Final Fantasy VIII demo disc, but it's actually surprisingly, there is a decent amount of gameplay here. And I'm going to go ahead, I just want to find, there's a character whose accent, even with all of the amazing accents I've already shown, he takes the cake. So I'm just gonna, there's a couple more sequences, but I just want to show you my good pal Root Trick, because he sure is great. And so we're gonna see up here another
It's so high up
little
here.
sequence of how Brave Fencer Musashi handled puzzle solving and stuff like that.
Finally,
I originally
you're
never
on your
beat
mind.
Brave Fencer Musashi the first time I played it, because I couldn't. There's a point in the game where I was like 8 or 9 when I first played Brave Fencer Musashi, and so there's a point in the game where you deal with an enemy called Vambies. They are vampire zombies.
Huh?
Vampire zombies, and their dungeon is ancient Egyptian themed. So they are vampire zombies that live in a place that looks like where mummies should live. So they are every single horror movie trope all rolled into one. And my 8 or 9-year-old mind just couldn't deal with it, and I quit playing after I saw the Vambies. The Vambies actually come out. They only come out at night. They take over the base hometown that you live in, and on top of all of that, they also all come out of the bar at night. So bars make vampire zombies, it turns out, as if there was any doubt. And now I have to straight Indiana Jones through this sequence. And yeah, Brave Fencer Musashi can just run down a friggin' sheer cliff. He can just do that. So I guess he's not, for as puny as he is, he can do some amazing stuff every once in a while. Like this game, if you needed any example of how slapstick and nonsensical this game gets, here you go. Got all these pig guards getting mowed down by a gigantic rolling head with angry eyes. Oh crap. Screw this up. Jump. If I screw this up, I have to do the whole thing. Come on, Musashi. You can do this. Yes! Okay, great. Because now we are up to the part. Ah, Root Trick's just such. Oh, he's so good. He's so bad, he's so good. And Musashi can just run through friggin' walls. That's a thing he can do, apparently.
Princess.
And there's a
Hey,
Musashi-sized
who are
hole
you?
behind him.
I'm Root Trick, and you're
Musashi!
Musashi? You're the summon hero? You're pulling my leg. Now, y'all give me Lumina, won't you?
I think he's
If you
supposed to be
do,
from the
y'all
south.
get
I
this
can't
little
tell.
lady
His
in
accent's so
exchange.
subtle.
Yeah, right. You wish.
I just
that.
imagine that
Let go,
whoever was the
princess.
audio designer or the recording, whoever decided how this game should be
Y'all
recorded,
get fooled.
they must have just been
Them
telling the voice
legs
actors just,
can't
no
be
more.
put it out easily.
No,
Shoot,
people won't
what's
understand.
with
This
the
is a video
buckets here?
game. We're not about subtlety.
What should I do?
We need you to have more of a southern
Like
accent.
what
Could you
you
throw more
say?
y'alls and yaws into what you're saying? No, could you?
Oh, yeah.
No, your Princess Filet is from Southern California, and so she says like all the time. No, Scribe Shanky, people won't understand that he's supposed to be a terrible gay stereotype. Could you lisp harder?
I got you now, Root Trick.
It's just everything is to the nth degree,
Musashi, just
and
hurry up and bash this hunk of log.
man, games like this just don't exist anymore.
Shut up,
I-
you dumb gal, or else y'all
because
gonna
it's
get
it's so competent at everything else.
See y'all
If it
later,
just wasn't for the
Musashi.
presentation.
Have yourself a nice day.
But, you know, if it wasn't for the presentation, I probably wouldn't even be showing it. So, I guess this falls into it's so bad it's good category, perhaps. You should check it out if for nothing else than for a good laugh. The game is completely playable. It's very solid. The combat and action is good. It does actually have a handful of mechanics that are innovative. Fusion and Lumina specifically. And the day-night stuff is pretty cool for an action RPG of this era. But, man, if you just want to laugh, like, whenever I have friends over, if they have never seen Brave Fencer Musashi, I just tell them, look, you need to check out this game. It's something. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna peace out. Don't know if I'm ever gonna cover Brave Fencer Musashi again. Actually, I know. I'm not. I'm not going to do another Brave Fencer Musashi video. But hey, check out this game if you are if you have a hankering for nostalgia and earmuffs. So, till next time, peace!